want to talk a bit about some comments made yesterday after the game, and it was to do with youth, and that's Maurizio Sarri's comments. Now, the past few games, like since the City game onwards, I've been impressed with Sarri in terms of how he's changed, how he's adapted, how he's looked like he's learning. But unfortunately, with his comments that he's made yesterday about a particular player, you'll probably be able to guess, or you already know the comments. I feel like that's starting to diminish a little bit. He was talking about Callum Hudson-Odoi, and we spoke before. People on this channel and on other channels and on Twitter and other social media, etc., have spoken about how first week of January after the Tottenham game, I think it was the 1-0 where we lost in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. He said he was ready. He said he was able to start games. He was looking like he would be able to put him in his team. Sarri's come out after the game yesterday and said that Hudson-Odoi needs to improve, and that these next bit I'm paraphrasing here, but that for someone of his age, of 18, 19, he should be happy with the minutes he's getting because not a lot of players at other clubs in the Premier League are getting the same time. So what I did, I like my lists, as you'll probably be able to tell quite quickly. If you watch videos probably coming up or whatnot, I may bring up more lists, but I created a list of all the players I could find in the league between 18 and 20 that have played more games than Hudson-Odoi. And there's a good 18 here, I think it is. 26, 9, there's 14 players here. And just to go through some, we've got. So Hudson-Odoi has made 4 appearances, by the way, in the Premier League. It's just the Premier League I'm talking about. Declan Rice made 26, Ryan Sessegnon 26, Gibbs White, funnily enough, ironically, Wolves preview, Gibbs White's made 20, Vinagre, their left wing back as well, has made 13, Valerie, Southampton 15. And another point I want to bring up with this, before I get your thoughts on this, because I know a lot of people will be saying that these players, they're playing for teams that haven't got aspirations of challenging for a title or challenging for top 4. Just to put that myth completely out of there, Foden for City, 9 appearances, double what Hudson-Odoi has made. Dalot for United, 10 appearances. Alexander-Arnold, 20 appearances, and is probably England's starting right back now. Guendouzi as well has had there's a couple of games, like, obviously you'll take credit on this for being an Arsenal player. He's had a few bad games and whatnot, but 25 appearances this season. I don't really understand the comments and where he's coming from, if I'm being honest.
I'm not gonna lie. I've said it before, Hudson-Odoi is our best right winger, and I stand by that. But I think, for the sake of discussion, I'm gonna go play devil's advocate, and I'm trying to look at this from Maurizio Sarri's point of view. Now, I keep saying that Hudson-Odoi is our best right winger. He should be starting more games. He should be getting minutes. Thing is, Hudson-Odoi is getting minutes, and the one thing I will say that maybe pushes more on Maurizio Sarri's side is, look at examples like Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney, Cesc Fabregas. These are players that played game in and game out and were probably the best player in their teams, except for Rooney because he was in the Ronaldo era at that point. But at that point, they were one of, if not the best players in their team, and they were amazing for their age. But they winded down particularly early. Cesc Fabregas has already lost his legs at the age of 30. Wayne Rooney's already in the MLS. Owen, I think, retired at 32. Now, I think from Maurizio Sarri's point of view, I don't think he's trying to say Hudson-Odoi isn't talented. Like, we've had the conversations about his stamina. That's another point, yeah, which I kind of understand. But I think Maurizio Sarri is just looking to try and bed him in a little bit slower. So overall, in the long term, he can maximise his career. If that kind of makes sense. I'm not saying don't play Hudson-Odoi. I'm going to say it for the 3rd time. He's our best right winger. I get that. But if you want me to play devil's advocate, maybe he's just trying to bring him into first team football at this top level a bit slower.
I think I can understand what you're saying. I think, sort of backing up your point about the stamina, one thing that I learned about Gerrard, and I was told by others, is that he had a similar sort of problem with his stamina when he first was at Liverpool, and that's how they used to do it. They used to either he'd play the first half or some of the game, yeah, he'd always come off, or he wouldn't play all the game, but he'd come on and he'd get a lot of minutes, and then it allowed him to build his stamina up. And so I do understand your point about the stamina. My only thing is, and I saw Simon Phillips on Twitter raise this point, is that he's talking about him wanting to improve. I don't see how he's going to with the odd 10-minute cameo here, the odd 15-minute cameo there. Unless he starts getting, a 30-minute period of the games, like Loftus-Cheek did yesterday, or he gets the game like he did in the Malmo away game, where he gets the whole game to showcase what he can do. I don't see how he can quite improve. Obviously, we don't see what happens in training. He could be making those small steps in training. We just don't know about it. But from what we see on the pitch, it looks as though he's not given the opportunity to improve with what he's getting.
No, that's where Sarri does come into blame. And here's the thing: as much as I understand, like my previous point about how you want to bring him in a little bit slowly, the Europa League, let's be honest, is perfect for that. And there were games like Malmo away. There was games like the game yesterday where he should have been starting and he didn't. Because, let's be real, I now want him to start against Wolves as a result, but will he? That's the problem.
I can see him coming on, but I don't see him starting, personally.
And then moving on after that, it's he'll probably play against Kiev in the next game. Yeah. That will mean he won't have to play against Everton.
But then it's
hopefully Cardiff he plays, because then that would actually be a decent amount of minutes of him for the month.
Plus, no offense to Cardiff, it's a team where, as I said in the one on the match for Kiev, that and Burnley, those are the sort of perfect games. Because no offense to them, they're a relegation threatened team. They're not offering much.
Let's be real. They've just lost Sol Bamba for the season. They're
best. They're probably their best player, or at least their best defender by far.
This is why we want to see him start. We want to see him get those minutes. But if you're not even seeing him get the minutes against Kiev in the first leg, it's the home leg as well. It just doesn't fill you with optimism.
No, it's then when you're getting like the games against the Evertons, against maybe not the top teams, because we probably wouldn't expect him to start those games, but the Evertons, the Leicesters, the Brightons. I think we've played them away. Have we played them home? I don't think we have.
Who?
Brighton,
yeah, we played them away.
But we haven't played them home. We still got to play them home.
Game in hand.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. But yeah, those sorts of teams where they're sort of mid-table-ish, they're okay, they're decent. Those would be the games you want him to see him get more minutes against. And you just don't know whether he will at the minute with the current situation.
Sorry, in a minute, and it goes back to what you were saying about how long's left of the season. 10 games left, potentially about 5 Europa League games left. That will be about 15. Well, there will be 15, in fact.
I think it's 7. Yeah, because it's...
No, there's 10 games left. No, but we've played one game already.
So it's 6.
No, because quarters, yes.
6, because final as well. If we get to the final, which we should do, but it all depends. But yeah, absolutely, yeah. What's about 16 games left of the season? How many of those you really realistically think he's going to play? If, say, we do get to the semi-final and final, is he going to play those? Probably not.
Here's the thing, it then moves on to, like, all season there's been the Sarri and the Sarri out agenda, and then it's been obvious where I stand. I've made it clear all season. If Hudson-Odoi continues to not get minutes, though, the argument for Sarri out is only going to get bigger from the Sarri out brigade.
Yeah, I think then going back to our point on the ban, if Hudson-Odoi is not getting minutes and he's clearly our best player, our second best winger, I should say, in general, it doesn't fill me with confidence that the players like the De Silvas, the Jameses, the Mounts, the Inyas for slightly a step down, or the Tamoras and whatnot, they're going to then get minutes in a season where, if we have the ban, we need to play youth.
This is a thing though, and it's something that's popped into my head as well. We kind of knew Sarri was going to be like this going into it, because at Napoli, what was one of his issues? Playing the youth. Remember Guardiola saying in December apparently that he told Sarri to focus on about 14 players and the rest don't really matter. So Sarri's going to have his core group of players. Now I just got to hope Hudson-Odoi and Loftus-Cheek are in there. To be honest, I'd be surprised if they weren't, because Ruben Loftus-Cheek is our best midfielder going forward, and Hudson-Odoi is our best right winger. So if they're not in there, then questions do need to be asked, regardless of whether you're Sarri in or Sarri out. But I still say stick with him for the first season.
I think now that we've got the ban, I'm personally stick with him. I think that my reservations with him were due to the stubbornness and the lack of change, and we've seen, as I said, the last few weeks, the Tottenham game, the City game, to a lesser extent the Fulham game, in the first half particularly, not the second half so much, we've seen that change. We've seen the adaptation. We've seen the wanting to include a few more players. But yeah, I think that I have a worry in my head, and one thing I do want to bring up is that I don't think this point about Hudson-Odoi will be anywhere near as big as it is in terms of getting minutes if it wasn't for the fact he had 12 months left on his contract, or whatever it is left, like 13, 14, whatever it is left.
Hudson-Odoi's got a year left.
Yes, that's part of the reason.
Shit, man, I just realised
we wanted him to sign a contract in January or just before because he only had a year left, and he said no. So by January of next year, when we still may have the ban or the ban comes in place, he'll be able to speak to anyone for free, and the most we'll get is a bit of compensation because he's under 23.
You just fucked up the whole thing for me. I didn't even know that.
Oh, I thought you did.
I really didn't even know that. Wow, he's on a year left.
Yes. Again, we're going the Arsenal route, aren't we? Of just letting players run down their contract to about a year and then go, do you want a contract? No, what's the point?
There's a potential if we keep Hazard that him and Hudson-Odoi will leave for a free next season. You kill me.
That's a depressing thought. That's a very depressing thought.
Optimistic thoughts. We're going to win the Europa League.
But yeah, we're gonna win it all and all that. But yeah, one other small point I wanted to bring on this, and it's only my worry that with him not playing, and with obviously I feel like this won't happen only because he'll get game time elsewhere, and there's a lot of other avenues for him to go down, like the Sancho route and the Nelson route of going elsewhere, or like there are other teams that want him. But I do worry that there could be another situation that we've seen in the past with some players of they're just not working. We've seen it with with Ravel Morrison, now at Ostersund's. We've seen it with recently released Sergei Samper. He was touted as being for Barcelona next Xavi, even given his old number when Xavi was in the academy at Barcelona. Wow. And he's just been released in the past. I think in the past couple of weeks he's been released.
People need to stop hyping these youngsters.
Yeah, you know
like this.
It's like Arsenal fans. Oh, Guendouzi's the next Zidane.
Shut up, what happened?
Shut up.
What happened?
Jeez. Trying to tell me he's Pogba and Kante rolled into one. Just shut up.
He's the second coming of Denilson with David Luiz in the week. That's what it is.
Oh, that's brilliant. But yeah, there's not much more to be said than that. I think, as we've said, like we want him to play. There are reasons we can understand certain reasons why he might not play. For me, the main thing I want out of this actually is just sorry to not be commenting about it, because his comments just don't seem to add up with anything he says previously. That's my main thing.
This is the thing with press conference. I agree with you on that, because I'm not gonna lie, sorry confuses the hell out of me sometimes. Even for someone who's sorry, and he does confuse the hell out of me sometimes. But I feel like with that, I just try to play out like I'm a football fan, and maybe I just don't understand the game like that. But if we're gonna stand there and analyse it, he does confuse me a bit. You said Hudson-Odoi was ready, and now he's not getting the minutes. Willian is not better than him. Pedro on his day will be, but he's in decline. No. It's going to be very few and far between from now on.
Yeah, I'd say. Sorry to interrupt you. I'd say Willian can have his game, like we've seen at Sheffield Wednesday. We saw it to an extent. The Malmo away game, I thought for me he was man of the match. I know a lot of people said Hudson-Odoi, but they're few and far between at this point.
That's the thing. I keep Willian only because he turns up against those small teams. Like if you play him in the FA Cup early rounds, Cup early rounds, early Europa League rounds, this guy's like second Hazard. But if you play him against league teams or anyone of real competition, boy. But that's Willian's only saving grace. Pedro's also older too.
That's a fair point. But yeah, as we said, guys, that's about it. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like, obviously, I would say let us know if you want Hudson-Odoi to play. But obviously, most people are going to say yes. That's a really stupid thing. But yeah, let us know what you think about the whole thing, about Sarri's comments, about just about the whole thing, what you think of his comments, how much you think Hudson-Odoi will play in the coming weeks for the rest of the season. And that's about it.